So let's start the session. So in today's class, we are going to start the Python. Okay. So many of you are new to programming and some of you are having the fear of programming. So let us start with the first one, programming. That is Python. Right. So now Python and how to install the Python and how to execute the code in the Python. All these things we are going to see one by one. Right. Yeah. So here Python. Python is a popular programming language. Programming language means nothing but, see, first let us understand what is meant by language. What is meant by language? As everyone knows, what is meant by language? Language means nothing but which is used to communicate. Okay, whether it is a Telugu language or Hindi language or English language or whatever the language, language is used to communicate. Now, if you are using a normal language like English language or Telugu language, something like this, and communicating to each other. So in order to discuss or in order to speak to each other, you are going to use the language for communication purpose. Now, what is meant by programming language? Programming language. Now, programming language is nothing but which is the language used by writing the program. So by writing the program, they are communicating each other. So for example, I want to speak to the machine. Machine will not understand directly whatever I am speaking. So it will understand through some kind of machine code only, machine language, or which is we are going to write through programs. So programming language means we are communicating through using the program. By using the programs, we are communicating each other. Means with you and the machine are communicating each other by writing the program, which is called as programming language. And this is the easiest and most popular programming language. Earlier, few years back, Java is in the first place. Java programming language used to be in the first place few years back. And now in the present market, which is in the first position, means Python is in the first position as of now. Right? So many of the applications has been converted from the Java to Python. So, and what is the advantage of Python is the Python is having, when compared to any other programming languages, multiple advantages are there. Multiple. So let us see one by one. So this popular programming language was created by von Rossum and in the year of 1991. You don't need to write in the notes because this is not the interview question. No one is going to ask. It is okay. Now, whatever this person has invented in 1991, sir, since it was invented in 1991, then why it is not popular in that time or in the year of 2005 or in the year of 2010 also, Java only is more popular. In the year of 2012 also, Java only more popular. In the year of 2015 also, Java only more popular. But invented 1991, but in this particular scenarios, Java only more popular. Suddenly, how the Python has got the popularity? Because the number of libraries has been increased. Means, what is meant by libraries means which makes with respect to easy use of language. Libraries makes us with respect to easy way. So earlier we are not having this many of libraries. Now the libraries has been created in such a way that it has been vast. They have created. Sir, how they have created? Earlier they are not there. Now how they are created means the first main advantage of Python is a open source. Open source means which is free of cost. No need to have the cracked versions and no need to install the cracked versions. Directly the original version itself is free of cost for us. So it is a open source. When it is a open source, that is free of cost, and Python is having a great community. It is having with a great community. Community means where the number of people, like we are having WhatsApp group, right? Similarly, the Python is having the group, which is called as community. In this group, the people who are Python developers, they are sharing whatever they have invented, whatever they have done, they are sharing at free of cost because everything is free. So they are going to share something. So like this, they are developing. Every day the Python is getting developed. Tomorrow you have invented something. Sir, why we have to do this much of things? And this is going to be useful for many of them. So for example, you have invented something and it is going to be useful for many of them. Most of the people are getting used on that. Immediately you are going to submit to the Python, and in the latest version of the Python, it will be included automatically. So like that, it is getting updated every time, right? Now, what are the applications of Python? If you see, the Python is not designed only for data science purpose. The Python is a general programming language. It is not with respect to data science programming language or R programming language with the statistics. This is not like that. It is a general programming language. General programming language. General programming language means which is having a wide range of applications, generalized. It is not fixed to this certain people only. So you can create the web applications using the Python. So you can create the workflows, means integrations, Python integrations. You can do with respect to data modifications like database systems you can do. And you can handle the big data or with respect to rapid prototyping. That is easy people are going to use with respect with using the Raspberry Pi, right? So like this. So in the web development we are going to use, in the desktop applications we are going to use, OpenCV is used for computer vision purpose. Pi audio is used for analyzing the audio data. For example, if you are using a graphic, then you are going to use this one. For example, you are game designers, you are going to use Pygame. So who is going to use Pygame? Means who are using on the games, who are working on the games, they are going to use this one. Who are working on the computer vision, they are going to use this library. Every person is not going to use every library. The total almost 20,000 libraries are available. 20,000 libraries are there for different purpose, right? So we are having those many number of libraries where in that we are having the applications of machine learning like NumPy, SciPy, TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch. All these are the libraries. Now, what is the use of these libraries? Means it makes us work very simple. The more number of libraries, using the library, without using the library, you have to write, for example, 10 lines of code you have to write in Python. Using the library, you just write 2 lines of code. It makes us the simplified. The code will be simplified and easy to use, right? Now, for example, there is an artificial intelligence program like autonomous cars. Elon Musk is going to send the satellites and he is going to take the data, the image processing he is going to do. Or even the Google. In the Google Pixel, everyone knows this Pixel phone, right? In the Pixel phone, the image processing will be very high when compared to any other phones. Okay, the blurriness, it is going to remove the blurriness or the image shaking, the stabilization, whatever the things are there. In the Pixel phones, the camera is going to be the top notch when compared to any other mobiles. The image processing will be done top notch. Now, how it is going to be done? Because the Pixel is going to, this mobile phone, the image processing will be entirely done based on the TensorFlow, which is a Google's own. This library was created by Google only, right? So they are going to use the maximum of this one and they are going to have with respect to maximum image stabilization and image processing, right? Now, we are having with respect to by using these many libraries, different libraries, I'm making the code very simple. Now, earlier, whatever the example I have told you, right? Elon Musk is using some kind of satellite images. Now, whatever the images he is going to get and he has to process the data, the images he has to process. For processing that data, he is going to write the code, assume, example. The code, if they have to write in Java, means it is going to be 100 lines, but in the Python, the same code will be just in 10 lines. So almost entire artificial intelligence is done based on the Python. None of them out of 100%, not even 0.00001% people are also not going to use Java. 100 out of 100, everyone has to use Python only. Because when compared to Java, the Python is very simplified, very simplified, right? That is the reason whoever are going to apply on the this one, so they are going to use the Python only. Okay, when you are having simplified, why you go with the complex one? And it is going to take computationally more time and computationally which requires more power. Power means in terms of more GB of RAM or with respect to high-end process, all these things, right? Now, Python is also used for internet protocols like HTML files, request, beautiful soup, all these things. In order to make with respect, in order to have the internet, using the internet, we are going to extract the data. For example, requests are there. We are going to send a request that I want your data. Beautiful soup is also used for web scraping purpose. So like this, we are having multiple applications with respect to Python. Python is not only applicable for data science, it is having with wide range of applications, right? Now, Why we are going to select Python? Why Python? Basically, Python is a snake, right? Snake name. It is one of the type of snake, but it is a very friendly snake, not poisonous snake. Very, very, very friendly snake. We can play the game, right? Now, here it is a general purpose programming language. It is purely a general purpose programming language, and it is a high level, and it is a scripted language, and it is a interpreted language. What is the meaning of all these things? We'll see one by one. First, general purpose. General purpose means it is used for creating wide range of applications. Already I have shown you the applications, right? So that is the purpose of Python. And second one, simple syntax. Syntax is very simple. To understand Python syntax, normal person also will understand easily. For example, I will write the code. The persons who knows Python only answer this one. You already know Python means don't answer. You please hold on. Let us see others will respond whether they will understand or not. Let us see. Let us observe. Who already knows Python, don't answer this question. Okay. Print hello. I have written like this. What is the meaning of this? Generally in English. In English language, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning? Who knows? Who don't know Python? Can you explain? Just I'm asking English in English language. What is the meaning of this? Just you are asking to print the hello. The meaning is print the hello. This is the meaning, right? Simple. This is the Python syntax. Print hello is the simple. Now, let us take this same thing. As everyone knows, the first common programming code we generally will write is print hello world. This is the from our childhood onwards, we are using the same thing. Nah? So we'll use the same thing. Now, this same thing, if you want to use in the C language, in the Java, in the Python, you want in the 3 different programming languages. In the C, you have to write first one, hash include something like stdoi.h. What is this stdio means? Standard input output. .h. What is the meaning of .h? Why we have to use this one? What is the use of this symbol? What is the meaning of this one? These all are called as syntax. They are called as syntax, right? With respect, and we are going to use here the main, some kind of void main, and we are going to open it. Within that, we are going to write printf. We are going to write some kind of printf like this, and we are going to print something. We are going to use like this. Now, all these things, whatever we are going to use, the curly braces open, curly braces close, semicolons, colons, whatever you are going to use, all these are called as syntax. Now, let us understand what is meant by syntax first. What is the meaning of syntax? Syntax is, for example, let us take in this way. Most of the doubts were clarified in the last class. Most of the doubts were clarified in the last class. In the last class, we have the doubts clearance session on, right? So most of the doubts were clarified. Now, instead of using were, that is, instead of using this, is classified, is clarified. If I use like this, what is the difference? Who told you this with respect to present tense and past tense, all these things? Who told you all these things? English grammar, right? English grammar. This grammar of English grammar is called as syntax of English language. We have to go with the as per the syntax. We can't give as per our choice. Many of the students will think that they are creating Python. They feel that they are creating Python and they'll ask many of the questions and they'll confuse themselves. Actually, we are not going to create the Python. We are going to learn the Python. Python is already created. For example, like in English, A, B, C, D. Why it is called as A, letter A only? Why it should be called as B only? Why? Why in English 26 letters only are there? Why 27th letter is not there? If you start thinking in this way, at the end confusion will be there. Here we are not going to create the language. We are not going to add the new letter, or we are not going to do this one. We are going to, for example, we required with respect to communication skills means we require a good communication skills means just we are going to understand basically the letters, using the letters words, using the words we are going to understand with respect to parts of speech, and from that types of sentences, tenses, and based on the sentence tenses, we are going to formulate the sentences, and based on which we are going to have the communication. We are going to learn the step by step. This is our major one. And for that, we are going to learn in this way, one by one. Here, these, whatever the letters are there, whatever the words are there, whatever the parts of speech is there, whatever the tenses are there, these are all the syntaxes of the English language that we are not going to create. We are going to learn. Already it is being created. Just we are going to learn. And as per my requirement, I'm going to apply wherever I require. So for example, I'm speaking something. For example, I told like the sentence like called as for example. Why I'm using for example? Because I'm explaining some example. Whenever I require the example word, I'm going to use that one. Whenever I don't require this word, I'm not going to use that word. Right? The same thing in the complete any language, not only Python, anything. If you want to learn the basics, miss, from the starting, if you want to learn, miss, just you have to understand the syntax. Here, this is the part which you are going to create. This is called as creation part. This is called as application part, not creation part, application part, applying these things here. Similarly, in the Python also, we are going to learn those things, and based on that, we are going to apply that one, and we are going to create the projects. Right? We are not going to create the Python. We are going to use the Python, and using the Python, we are going to develop the projects. Use the Python and developing the projects is called as application. It is not called as creation. Right? So here just we are going to learn. So the syntax of the Python is very simple. The syntax for English language is there. Similarly, for Telugu language also, there will be some syntax, right? If you want to speak in Telugu, you can't use as per your choice, right? You have to use proper grammar for Telugu. Similarly, for Hindi, for Urdu, for any German or Spanish, whatever the language. For any language, there will be certain rules are there. The rules are called as syntax. If you are not following the rule, miss, it is called as grammatical error in English language. Similarly, here it is called as syntax error. Syntax error means you are not following the as per the Python rule. You are not following the Python rule. That is the meaning of syntax error. Right? So syntax, what are the syntax we are having? This is the very simple syntax when compared to any other programming languages. As we have discussed with respect to the C programming, we have to use include stdoi.h and void main, and I'm going to use printf, right? And I'm going to print the hello, and I'm going to close this one and this one, right? Similarly, if you're going with Java, so in the Java, what you have to use? Again, same to same, again this one, but instead of this, we have to use system.println, right? So now whatever you are using this one, again in the Java also we are having the same thing, and we are going to have the same like this, and we are going to have the main, everything the same. Okay, and that to public, we have to open with respect to public that one, and so many things we have to write. Now, whereas in the Python, simply you have to write print hello. Completed. Code is completed. Here you have written in 4 lines or 5 lines. Here you have written in 4 lines, or here you are writing just in 1 line. Simple syntax, very simple, easy way to understand. When compared to Java, Python is not easy, it is dead easy. When compared to this one, it is dead easy. Sir, I don't know Java language, sir. I'm not having any knowledge on Java or C language, nothing. Then you are called as a lucky guys. Because in your mind, there is no confusion. You'll not compare anything. Whoever learns the Java, they'll compare. Every time they'll compare. Sir, in Java, we'll write like this. They'll compare and they'll confuse. You guys are lucky guys. No confusion, no comparison. Okay, simply you're called as lucky guys. So for my requirement, there is no required of Java or nothing, any of others. Right? Now, so Python syntax is very simple and very similar to English language. If you know the English, means Python is easy. Minimum requirement is English language, right? Now Python syntax allows the developer to write the programs with less number of lines of code when compared to others, right? And it is not going to have with respect to this kind of this one, this curly braces, this all the things will not be there. Curly braces open, curly braces close, this one, all these things will not be there. It is very simple when compared to any other programming languages, right? And in the Google, if you type which is the most easiest programming language in the entire world, write that same term sentence as it is. Which is easiest programming language. You have to use the word of programming. Which is the easiest programming language in entire world. Worldwide, not only here. Answer is Python. If you type in the Google, you will get the answer as Python. Python is the easiest one. Not easiest one, dead easiest one. Right? Now, it is a open source. Open source means you don't need to have any kind of license or nothing like that. It is a completely open source. Directly you can download from official website of Python only and directly you can install. Unless it is an enterprise version. In the companies, they are going to download that one, enterprise level. Right? Generally, most of the times, whatever we are going to work in the real life also, it is purely of free version only we are going to work. As a data scientist also, we are going to work on the free version only. Right? And the next advantage of Python is portability. It is having the portability. Portability means whatever you have designed in the, for example, you have designed in the Windows, operating system of Windows you are having. This same thing, whatever the file is there, this file you can directly use in the Linux also. Whereas in Java or any other programming, you have to install between them virtual machines. Here the Python is inbuilt virtual machine it is having. The Python is having the virtual machine which is inbuilt. So no need of additional anything. Just here in the Windows, you have created some file called as srk.py. The same py file directly you can use in the Linux. The same py file you can use in the Mac. Irrespective of OS, independent of OS, right? But whereas other programming languages, you have to use with respect to in between Java virtual machines you have to do, and you have to convert the code also. Okay. And next one is interpreted language. Python is an interpreted language. Now, what is meant by interpreted language? And this makes the why Python is easy. The reason is this one only. Interpreter. It is an interpreter. And in the interview, they are going to ask you the question, what is the difference between an interpreter versus compiler? This is your first interview question. Okay, which I am discussing in the class. Of course, it will not be asked for the data scientist. Okay, data scientist level is this one. They'll not, for example, you are a BTech students, while they'll ask LKG questions. LKG questions will be asked to LKG students, not to the BTech students. This is the basic, very basic level question. This will not be the real time in the interviews, right? So what is the difference between interpreter versus compiler? Now, for example, let us take two languages, language number 1, any language number 2. Okay, this language 1 is an interpreter language, and second language is a compiler language, some kind of compiler language. Two languages are there. Now, what is the difference between this one is, for example, here you have written the code. Okay, total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 lines of code you have written. Okay, total 8 lines of code you have written. Now you are having the error here and also the error here. 2 errors are there. Now the compiler, what it is going to do, you know, so first all the 8 lines of code you have to complete, and once it is entirely completed, you have to give to the execution. You have to execute. Once you execute, for example, there is an error, there is a problem here and there is a problem here. It is going to show you all the errors at a time. Every error it is going to show at a time, and it is going to take entire code from the starting to end in the single shot. All the complete code, it is going to execute the complete code. The execution will be done on the complete code. It is going to execute the complete code at a time. The complete code will be executed at a time. Example, C language. In the C language, you have written 10 lines, 20 lines, whatever it is. Everything, once it is completed, finally you have to execute. Once it is executed, Now after that, it will see all the one after every line, and it will mention if there is an error here in the third line. If there is an error in this one, it is going to mention third line, and this is in the sixth line. Line number 3 is having error, and line number 6 it is having the error. It will mention all the errors in a single shot. It will execute the entire code also in a single shot, and it will mention the errors also in a single shot. Now, whereas interpreter, now the same lines of code is there here also. Same 8 lines of code. I'm going to take same 8 lines of code. And once again, I'm having the same error in the third line and the sixth line. Same time. Same as it is. Now, in the interpreter language, what happens means it is going to see not the complete code at a time. It will execute only this line, whether this line is correct or not. Is this as per the syntax or not? Syntax as per syntax, okay, tick mark. It will execute. And it will come to the second line. It is as per the syntax or not? Yes, it will execute. And it will come to the third line. So it is not as per the syntax or some error is there. In the third line, there is some error. It will mention the line number 3 is having the error. And once you rectify this error only, it will start remaining part. Otherwise, it will stop here only. It will not even check down what is there. Whether fourth line is good or bad, whether fifth line, it will not even check. It will stop here only. Means the first error, wherever the first error you have encountered, immediately it is going to show that error. And that too, here you can write only one line of code separately. And separately you can execute. No need to have with respect to these many lines of code, you no need to have. Separately you can execute one line. And you can see. So that makes the Python very simple. Okay, one line, it is going to execute one line. So this line, what happens in the backend, how it is going to work and why it is going to give that answer. You can clearly see that one. But whereas in other programming languages, you have written 10 lines of code. For which answer you have got also, you don't understand. But here, one line also, you can understand very clearly. What is the meaning of this one line and what is the output of this line. So that is the reason it is very easy. So designed to execute the instructions of the program directly without compiling the program. Compiling means instead of considering entire entire code into one shot, it will take line by line. Python runs as an interpreter. So the differences is this one. See, interpreter language executes the program one statement at a time, means one line at a time. For example, I have written A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5, and some kind of is equal to 4. And Z is equal to 6, something I have written like this. Here I have forgot to write something. I have forgot like this. Now first it will check. Now this is the same code. If I write in the compiler, it is going to throw an error. Here the line number 3 is having the error, the problem. First you rectify that one. After rectifying only, the entire code will be executed. First you have to rectify the problem, then only it will execute. Whereas the interpreter, if you write like the same thing, A is equal to 3, B is equal to 5, and is equal to 4, and Z is equal to 6. First A is equal to 3. There is a problem, no problem. So execute this one. The problem is here now. Then what happened to this one? Execute. This one also will be executed. This one also will be executed. The problem is here, right? So from here it will stop. From here it will stop. So error will be reported as the first error is encountered. Immediately the moment the first error it has got, it will encounter. It is going to show. And won't show the next set of errors. So down, if there are 10 errors are there also, it will not show. It will show only one error at a time. So that error, it is showing only one error. So easier to debug. Debug means rectifying. Bug is called as error. Debug means rectifying the error. So easier to debug means easier to rectify the error. Because one only error, one error only it is going to show, and easier. No intermediate object is formed because there is no virtual machines and no need to convert like this. Nothing will be there. Directly inbuilt it is having the virtual machines, right? So this is the, when compared to the interpreter language, and whereas compiler languages translates the entire program in a single shot, and entire program will be checked for overall errors at a time. Complete errors will be checked, and debugging of errors is difficult when compared to Python. Java also easy language only, but when compared to Python, it is difficult. Python is more easier than Java, right? And whereas Java will form the intermediate object because there is a virtual machine. First, it has to be converted to one part. Again, then only it will work, right? Sir, you are comparing every time with Java means I'm getting confused. Miss, then don't think about this one also. For who knows Java, for them only I'm comparing. If you don't know Java, if you don't know any other programming language, miss, for you, nothing. This is a simple language. For you, simple. In a single shot, it is a simple language. Right? Now, it is a high-level language. High-level language means it is with respect to, it has the less memory. Means, for example, in the other programming languages, you require 8 GB of RAM. Means, in this Python, you require only 6 GB of RAM. You don't need to require that much of high configuration when compared to Java. When compared to any other programming languages also, not only with Java, any other comparison, it is having the less memory and more efficient. It is more efficient. And here the Python is a functional programming. Python is a functional programming, and it is going to execute based on the objects. It is going to create the objects, and it is going to have the functional programming. And second one is, it is a dynamic typed. Dynamic programming. This is one of the most important one. So in other programming languages, we have to assign the data type at the starting. Int a is equal to 10. We have to write like this. We have to write the data type at the starting. But in the Python, just if you write a is equal to 10, it will automatically consider. Whatever the respective data type, it will automatically consider. You don't need to write the specially the data type name also. It will only take. So that is called as dynamically typed. Okay. And it is going to have the robust libraries. Multiple libraries are there, which makes the entire work easy. Now, sir, now Python is an interpreter or compiler, miss? It is a hybrid, both that one and this one. Both interpreter compiler in the both the case. For example, if you are using one of the IDE called as Spider or Jupyter Notebook, like this, if you are using, then you can use as an interpreter. There is one more IDE where is called as PyCharm. I will show you both the things. I will show you everything. I will show you whatever the options are there. I will show you what are the different ways of executing the Python code. Total, I am going to show you today 8 different ways. In the class, I am going to cover 8 different ways to execute the Python code. Sir, which one I have to select? Means whichever you feel easy, that one is the best one. Choice is yours. Whichever you feel easy, that is the best choice. Because everything has to give the same answer. In the backend, Python code only has to run. Everyone will give the same answer. Choice is yours. You can select whichever you feel easy, that one. And I will show my choice. And sir, in the company, which one they'll prefer? In the company, no one will ask you to work in this only. They will not ask to work in this. They will simply say that execute on the Python. Which one you are selecting? Choice is yours. No one will say that you have to use in this only, you have to work in this only, like that. There is no rule like that. Right? Now, Python can be executed in the many ways. Right? Without IDE, and with IDE. Python can be executed in the multiple ways with IDE and without IDE. Sir, what is IDE and without IDE? First, what is meant by IDE? IDE means nothing but integrated development environment. Integrated development environment means what is meant by integrated development? There is some environment. Environment means some location. In this, it has been developed. What it has developed? Some buttons will be there. We can click on that buttons. For example, what is the difference between your notepad versus MS Word? What is the difference between these two? Everyone knows notepad, right? What is the difference between a notepad versus MS Word? In the notepad also, you can write the sentences and whatever the paragraphs, whatever the English language you can type. And here also you can type. In this also you can type, in this also you can type. Then what is the difference between these two? Here in the Word, we can do the bold. We can change these things. Additional things are there, right? That is with respect called as IDE. Here nothing is there now. It is called as without IDE. That is the difference. Right? So IDE means nothing but there will be some environment. In this environment, there will be developed all the options. Multiple options are there. Buttons will be there. Like in the Word document, how we are having bold, italic, like these options are there. Similar way, some buttons will be there. This is called as developed. In this environment, they have developed these buttons. And what is meant by integrated? Whenever you are clicking on this, automatically in the backend, it is going to take the Python code. right? So that is the meaning of integrated development environment, right? Now here, first I'm going to show you without IDE and with IDE. Here I'm going to take one particular code called as print hello, and I'm going to get the output called as hello. This is the code and this is the answer. I will take the same code in the multiple things and I will show you different options, and whichever the option you feel comfortable, select that one. Okay. Now, in order to execute without IDE, first we have to install the Python. For installing the Python, just we have to open the Google, and here we have to type the Python. Okay. And we are going to get the python.org, the first one with the website. Open this, and here go to the downloads and click on this one. Once you click on this one, it is going to be downloaded as exe file, and open next, finish. Completed. Nothing is there. Next, finish. Don't change, never. Nothing you have to change. Nothing you have to change. Leave everything as it is. Click on next, finish. Is that finish installation? Very simple. Just you have to go to the downloads and download this one and click on the next. Very simple one, right? Once it has been installed, now you can have here Python. So you are going to have the same thing. So this is the Python. You can check in the search button with respect to Python like this. Even if you are using Linux or if you are using Mac OS also, the process is same. Next, finish. Okay. Installation is just 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Maximum 5 minutes. Not even 10 minutes it will take. Right? Now, once installation is completed, now I'm going to show you without IDE. Means I'm not going to use any kind of environment or nothing. Directly I'm going to take one notepad. I'm going to write a code on the notepad, and I'm going to execute in the command prompt, normal command prompt. So in front of you, I'm going to write the code. So first I'm going to create. I'm going to take D drive. In this D drive, in the NIT, here I'm going to create a new Word document, text document. Okay, this is the text document. Let us open this one. Here I'm writing hello. Sorry, print hello. This is the code. Code completed. And output I have to get is hello only. Right? What I'm going to do is simply I'm going to click on the save. First time I'm doing the so I'm going to click on the save as, and I'm going to save in the wherever this one is there. I'm going to create this one as example. This is the first example, right? Example dot py. You have to create as a py file. The extension of Python file is .py is the extension. So you have to create as a .py and click on the save. Now you are going to have this one py file, example.py file. Just if you click on the properties, see, this is a py file. Okay. Now inside this, if you open inside this, print hello is there. Okay. File, py file was created, and I'm keeping in the NIT drive. That too in the D drive within the NIT folder. I'm going to click on the command prompt, a normal command prompt, just normal command prompt. Okay. Now, first what I have to do is here, I have to give the wherever the file is located, that file I have to select. So this path, whatever the path is there, wherever the Python file location is called as working directory. The Python file location is called as working directory because you want to work this one. This entire folder is called as working directory. Wherever the Python file is there, that particular folder is called as. For now, example, my Python file, where the Python file is there, this one. Now this folder, this NIT folder is completely a working directory. Wherever your Python file is there, that particular entire folder is called as working directory. Right? Now, what is your working directory means in the DNIT. Now, in the command prompt, by default, you are having the working directory called as C, users, and admin. Okay, this is by default. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the directory. So, I'm going to have the different drive now. So, I'm going to use D something. Now, I'm going to use CD. CD means change directory. Which directory I'm going to change? this path, wherever the path is there, the Python file located, copy, I'm copying. This path I'm copying and I'm pasting here. Now the working directory is going to change to this location. CD, just CD means change directory. The full form of CD is change directory, and I'm changing. So now the initially it has changed. Earlier it is C users admin. Now the working directory has changed to this one. Is that clear? Now here I'm executing the Python file, that is py space example.py. This is the file name. In what way I have to execute this file? As a Python file you have to execute. The first py indicates that you have to execute as a Python file. Which file you have to execute? As example.py, which is available in this directory. Which is available in this directory, and click on the enter. Py and click on the enter. The output. Is that clear? Hello. You have got the hello. This is option number 1. It is not visible. Huh? For me, it is visible. Huh? Now, you can see the output. Hello. So, hello. The output you can see, right? So, whatever the code you have written, just you are executing the plain code directly the notebook. Whatever the notepad you have written, just you are executing. In that notepad, you can write 1 line of code, 2 lines of code, 100 lines of code, 10,000 lines of code also. Finally, once you execute, now it is working as a compiler. In this case, it is a compiler. So in that, for example, 500 lines of code is there. Enter 500 lines of code will be taken as single shot. Now you are not executing one by one, right? Is that clear, guys? In this way, you are going to execute the first one. So command prompt, just open the command prompt. What is the steps? Please write in your notes how to execute the code in the command prompt. Miss, open the command prompt. Open command prompt is the step 1. Step 1. Open command prompt, CMD, by clicking CMD. In the search button, just click on the CMD and click, and you will get the command prompt. Just click on this. And after clicking the CM, open the command prompt. Step 2, change the working directory. Change the working directory. Working directory means wherever the Python file is located. Change to the location where the Python file is located. Change to location where your Python file is located. To change that one, you go and change to that one. Step 3, after changing, now execute by entering py and file name along with the extension, of py. That's it. These are the 3 steps. This is option number 1 to execute the Python code. This is option number 1. Right? Sir, for example, in my notepad, 20 lines are there, sir. Okay, no problem. In the command prompt, 20 answers you'll see. Whatever the output of final of 20, that we will see. Right? Now, second option, option number 2. For the Python, only one command prompt is there. So click on the search button, Python. Now you can see here, Python 3.10, and which is in the black color symbol here. You can see, right? Now just click on this. Now this is the Python command prompt directly. So whatever the code you are writing, directly write the code only. Print. Hello. Directly write the code here itself. Right? And enter. You'll get the answer. This is option number 2. Directly open the Python command prompt. That is the computer's, command prompt is different. This command prompt is different. In this command prompt, you no need to write the first word of py because automatically this is Python only, na? Guys, is that clear? Directly you can write here the print hello. This is option number 2. Is the second option is clear? Now, let us see the third option. That is Python IDLE. IDLE means Integrated Development Learning Environment. L stands for learning. Right? Now, here in the Python, here there is an option. Ideally. Here normal command prompt is there. Here ideally is there. You can see. Just click on that. You will get a white one, this one. Sir, now what is the difference between earlier the Python command prompt versus Python ideally? What is the difference between these two? This is in the black color. This is in the white color. That is the only difference. That is the only difference. In the background, that is black color. This is white color. Pink color we are not having. In future, if anyone develops this, I will let you know. So just write the print hello. 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 Hello only. Answer also. Right. So this is the option number 3. You are not interested in the black background, means change to white by using ideally. Right. Now, option number 4. Right. Open a file in the ideally. Within the ideally, open a file. And within this file, you write the lines of code. Whatever you want, you write the lines of code here. Hello. Okay. And save this one. Wherever you want, you save. Desktop or somewhere. Whatever you want, you save. srk.py. I'm saving something like this. Okay. Once it is saved, now click on the run. And it is going to give the output. Right. So this is your code and this is the output. This is called as editing window. This is called as console window. Means where you can see the outputs. This is the editing windows. Okay. So here you can write the things and here you can see the answers. So for example, I'm changing this one hello instead of hello world. Okay. Just once again, already you have saved one time now. Just this time you have to click only save only. No need of save as. First time save as. Second time onwards save. And click on the run. You'll get the hello world output. This side is the code, this side is the answer. This is called as editor window, where you can edit. Where you can edit the code. For example, there is an error. For example, like this, there is an error and I'm saving the file. And I'm clicking on the run. And it is going to show the error. So the error you can modify here. You can come back and you can modify. Here the editing is possible. Whereas in the command prompt, once you enter means you can't go back. Again, you have to type the code only. You can't go back, which is already executed. Their editing is not possible. Here, editing is possible. And you're going to again save and click on the run. It will work. So total 4 options completed. Out of all these options, which option you feel easy as of now? Select that one as of now. Now I'll show with IDE. Now you select obviously this one only. Then this is going to be easy. Right? Now IDE. IDE is nothing but integrated development environment. So where there is going to be some environment is there. In that environment, some development is there. Development means in terms of buttons will be there. Using that buttons, it is very easy to execute the codes. Now, what I'm going to do is here, just I'm going to install the Anaconda. What to do is just go to the website anaconda.com and click on the products, Anaconda distribution, and scroll down till the end. And once you click on this, it is going to be 594 MB and next, finish. This one also same. This is also same. Right? Just it is going to take somewhat more time because that is 20 MB, 30 MB. Now. This is 594 MB. Now. It will take time for download. It will take time for the installing also. But concept is same. And if you don't agree also, you have to click on I agree only. You have to accept only. If you read also, you have to accept. If you don't read also, you have to accept. Finally, you have to accept. Then only you can use this one. Click on the I agree. Next, it is going to ask just me or all users. Clear the just me. Whatever the default is there, you don't need to do anything. Just you have to click on the next only. Your work is click on the next. And it is going to show some path. Don't do anything. Click on the next only. Don't change the path. Because the path, it has to be installed in the C drive only. Because in the future, we are going to apply on the artificial intelligence. At that time, it is going to be integrated with the OS. So the OS and Anaconda has to be installed in the same drive. So it is better to install in the C drive only. In the C drive, if you are having any important information, save that one in the other drives. But install the Anaconda in the C drive only. It is going to be in the future easy. Right? So just click on the install. After that, it is going to ask whether you want any path or something. No need to select anything. Just click on the install. Glue as it is. No need to do anything. Don't select anything. Whatever the default you are having, just use the default and click on the install. And it is going to install like this. Right? Once installation is completed, and click on the finish. Next, finish. Done. Very simple. After that, now you open in the search button, Anaconda. There is an option called as Anaconda Navigator. Click on this. And while clicking on this, it is going to take time. Don't immediately click. And this black color windows, whatever you are going to get, automatically it will close. You don't need to close. Just wait. You have to just wait only. No need to close. Everything will be automatically closed. So for the first time, when you are opening for the first time, it is going to take time. For the second time onwards, it will be fast only. For the first time, it will take time comparatively. Right? So one of the student is saying screen is not visible. Guys, others, can you please confirm whether the screen is visible or not? Online students? Visible, right? Okay, fine. See nil. Yes. Yeah. So once you click on this Anaconda Navigator, you are going to get a like this. Okay. So Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, PyCharm, all these things you'll get. R Studio, everything. So these are all integrated with the Anaconda. Now we are going to use the first one called as Jupyter Notebook, which is purely created for the students only. Notebook. Whatever you are writing in your notes, the same thing you can write in the notebook also. The running notes, the headings, the bold color changes, all these things you can do in the notebook directly here itself. What is the use of this notebook? Means your running notes will be there only, code will be there only, answer of the code also will be there only. Everything in the one location only. Okay. So wherever you have installed, the default, wherever you have installed, there it is going to open. You have installed in the C users now, so it is going to open that particular folder. Entire folder will be open. Now here, just click on the Python, new, and click on the Python. Click on this. Once you click on this, you are going to get a cell like this. So sorry, you will get this one like this. Now, sorry, I have forgot to say one thing. In the Anaconda, whenever you are clicking on the Jupyter Notebook, it is going to take your default browser. It is going to open in the default browser. Whatever your default browser is there, it is going to open in the default browser. It will not require the internet. Internet is not required. Don't think it is opening in the browser, so it is required internet. No, internet is not required. Only the user interface of the browser is required. Okay. So it is going to open in the default browser. Whatever you are having the default browser, it is going to be open in the default browser. And you are going to get like this. Right? Now, here you can write the code. Print hello. Hello. And execute. For executing, shift enter or click on the run button. Sir, today you have explained so many things now. I want to write the notes. What is the notes I want to write this? Whatever the notes you want to write. For example, in this, you want to write something. Something you are writing like this. The same thing you select as the markdown. Markdown means this is my notes. It is not considered as a code. It is considered as a notes. If, for example, if this is in the code format, and if you execute it, it is going to throw an error. It will throw an error because it is considering as a Python code. It should not be considered as a Python code, miss. You have to select as a markdown and execute. That particular cell you select, this particular cell you select as a markdown and execute that cell. So it will be considered like this. Got the point? So for example, today's class is there. Sir, you have first, I want to write heading as Python. So you are going to write the heading. For headings, you have to use hash. Hash space Python. Now you are going to get a heading like this. Now within this heading, what we have discussed in today's class? Point number 1. But it is we have seen the applications. Point number 2, we have seen with respect to advantages. Point number 3, we have seen with respect to installation. Point number 4, various ways to execute. Ways to execute the code. Notes. Within these applications, again you want within the sub, write this one. Applications, what is the applications? First one application is web application. Whatever you have written in your notes, you can write here only. Notes is here, code is here, answer also here. Right? So this is the biggest advantage of Jupyter Notebook. That is the reason it is called as notebook. Notebook means where we can write the notes. Notes you can write here. Sir, you are explaining the first example. This is my first example. Hello, first example. First example. Example number 1. You are writing in your notes like this only, na? Write the same thing in the markdown. First example. Print hello. Print hello. Example number 1. Print hello. Heading is there. Code is there. Output is there. Right? So this is the best one for the students. For students, this is the best one. And Google is the major investor. Who is the investor of Python? Miss Google. Google is the investor of Python. They have invested much amount in the Python, and YouTube and Google search, all this Gmail, everything are designed based on the Python only. Every Google product was designed based on the Python. For the Python, Google is the major investor, and Google wants to learn. Every student wants to learn the Python. For that, what they have done is they have created a new one. Google has created a new one called as Google Colab. They have created a Google Colab. So this is which is created for the students' purpose. The same thing, whatever we have done till now, the same you can create. Once again, new notebook. Click on the new notebook. Click on the Google Colab. Go to the Google. Click on the Google Colab, and after that, click on the new notebook. And you are going to get a like this. And type your code here. Hello. Sorry. Print hello. And execute the code by using this one. Sir, I'm not having the system. I'm not having anything. Do I have to purchase, miss? Choice. If you want to purchase, miss, you can purchase. No, sir, I don't want to purchase, miss. Even in your mobile phone also, you can execute the Python code like this. But it will take so much of time now to type in the mobile. Right? So Google has created. Why Google has created? Why Google can't create the PyCharm? Why Google can't take the spider? Why Google can't take the anaconda prompt, or why Google can't take with respect to command prompt? All these things. Why they have created Jupyter Notebook only inside that? Why Google created like Colab? Colab means co means going with respect to company and the people who are going to use. Lab means for whoever are going to use the lab. So Colab, they have created with the Colab. Now why they are created with the Jupyter Notebook only? They can create anything else also, na? Because this majorly Google Colab was created for the students. So for students, whichever is the friendly or whichever is easy, according to that, they have created. Is that clear? Answer is. So in this way, you can execute the code in the Jupyter Colab, Google Colab, or in the Jupyter Notebook. This is one way. In this IDE is nothing but, for example, you want to get a new cell. Just you are going to add a click, a new cell you are going to get. If you want to delete this one, click on the delete. This is called as developed environment. This is environment. Whatever the things you are saying, this entire thing is called as environment. These are the things which is developed inside that. This is called as developed environment. Now, whenever you are using to click this one and select run, automatically it is considering as a Python code. not as any other programming, Java code, or not it is considering as any other programming. It is considered as a Python code because it is integrated with the Python. So that is the reason it is called as integrated development environment. Yes, everything we'll see one by one. We'll see detailedly. In this, so many things are there. In this also, so many things. Everything we'll see one by one later. As of now, I'm showing only simple how to execute. For that, what are the multiple options are there? Right? Next, we are having next one is called as spider. In the Anaconda navigator, click on the spider. Here there is a spider is there, right? Click on this and click on the launch. It is going to launch. It will take time and it will launch. If you install now in your systems, if you install the Anaconda or whatever it is going to take automatically the latest versions only. You are going to work on the latest versions automatically, right? Now, here I am having this one. Now, this is called as similar way earlier. Whatever we are having, I have shown you in the Python IDE, that is editor window is there and console window is there. So here, this is also called as editor window. And this is called as console window. This is called as console window and this is called as editor window. And where you have to type here the code. You have to type the code print and hello. Hello. And execute the code. In order to execute the code, just you have to execute this one. And it is going to give the output as like this. In the console window, you will get the output. And this is called as editor window. This is called as editor window. This is called as console window. This is called as help window. Any help files if you want to see this, you can see here. Sir, here directly here itself you type the code. For example, if I'm writing print hello, I'm writing here itself the print hello. Okay, and directly execute. Here itself you are getting now. So directly you can write the code and here itself you get. But the problem is if you write like this printer HELLO, I'm not going to use the, now I'm going to get an error. Now this error why I'm got is because I have not used the inverted commas here. So this inverted commas are missing. Now if I want to edit this one, from where I have to edit, if I move the cursor to here, it will not edit. I am not having the edit option here. To execute option only is available, but editing option is not available. So that is the reason we are going to use the editor window separately. If there is any error miss, we can edit that one, the codes. Here we can't edit. Here we can edit. That is the reason it is called as editor window. This is called as console window. Console window means where output is available. Is it clear? This is the spider. And we'll see one by one. In the further classes, I will show you the Jupyter notebook and I will execute the Jupyter in the Jupyter notebook only the classes. And in some of the classes, I will execute the spider and I will show you. So in the company, it is better to go with the Jupyter notebook or spider. Which is good, or any directly ideally, which is best? Choice is yours. Whichever you feel easy according to that. Sir, Jupyter notebook I am feeling easy. Can I use this one also in the company? Absolutely. Whichever you want, you can use. The person is not going to say you have to use in the spider only. You have to use in the PyCharm only. No one is going to say like that. Simply they will say that this is the project and please execute in the Python. They will not say which IDE you have to use. Okay. Yeah, by default, the color is black. If you are opening miss, by default, you are going to get the color is black. So you have to go to the tools, click on the tools and click on the preferences. By default, everyone will get the black in the backend black color. And here you have to click on the appearance. And here you have to go, by default, it is going to have the spider black. You have to change this one spider black to normal spider. Instead of spider dark, you select the spider, normal spider and click on the apply. And you are going to get a white color. Okay. Is that clear, guys? In this way, we can execute the code. And finally, whichever you feel easy, select that one. There is no, with respect to rule, you have to use this one only. And I'm going to use in the class Jupyter notebook. And till now, whatever the class I have explained, you know, everything is in the Jupyter notebook only. This is my headings and notes. There is no PPT for me. Directly I have used the Jupyter notebook only. Till now, whatever you have seen is entirely is the Jupyter notebook only. And This table also Jupyter notebook only. This one also Jupyter notebook completely. Even the image also have uploaded in the Jupyter notebook only. Sir, how to upload the images? All these things you'll see in the further classes. You don't need to ask the questions now only. Right? Just Python is the easiest programming language and can be executed in the multiple ways. That is the final in one shot today's class. Right? The programming is dead easy when compared to anything. Any other programming languages, Python is the easiest one. And we can execute in the different ways. These are the various options. Yes, that is the end of the class for today.